And I just want you to know I'm just very honored that you would come to a volunteer service like this. You don't have to be here. You chose to be here. And for some of you, this is maybe something like you've never experienced before. This may be something totally different for you. And I just want you to relax, feel right at home. If somebody's kind of waving their hand in the air and you're not really sure what they're doing, it's okay. My name is John and I'm your friend. And you are welcome in our time together. You may be seated. I just am thrilled beyond words that you would come, because again, this is voluntary. We never, when we share faith, would want somebody to come and be a part of our time together if they wanted to do something else. So the very fact that you're here is a real honoring thing, and we're grateful. And now I get to do what I love to do more than anything else. And that is I love to talk about my faith. But I like to do it with integrity. I like to do it in the right setting. I don't like switching and doing the baiting type of thing at all. I come to you as your friend. And if you're a part of our coaching team, you know this, but I again tell you that you don't have to be a person of faith. We have different faiths here. We have different cultures here. And you are part of the Maxwell family. And we just are honored that you would come. And we want you to feel very comfortable, because I'm very comfortable in sharing with you what I know has incredible potential to transform and change your life. So I'd like to talk to you on the subject, Jesus, the High Road Leader. And, you know, I wrote the book High Road Leadership, but now the book Jesus, the High Road Leader has just started coming out. It won't be available on Amazon until September, but we have several thousand copies here, and many thousands of you are buying it. But it's just Jesus, the High Road Leader, and it's just a simple book, but I think it'll help. Okay. In 1995, I read a book by Philip Yancey that really helped me become a catalyst in sharing my faith. The name of the book is The Jesus I Never Knew. And he talked about this incredible Jesus, but he talked about him out of the Gospels. Just, what do the Gospels, what does the Bible say about Jesus? When I finished reading that book, it was at a very important time in my life, because I was just living 25 years of pastoring. And I was getting ready to cross over into the secular business world, because my publisher was saying 2/3 of my books were being read by business secular people. And I felt definitely called to cross over. But in crossing over, I was going where I had never gone before. I knew the Christian world, and I certainly knew the theological church world, but now I'm talking to a secular audience. And so I was very, I just brought myself into a teachable spirit. And I asked myself, how do I connect with integrity to people who don't know God? And how do I help them and add value to them and give them the right picture of God? And after much thinking and prayer, and after reading the book, The Jesus I Never Knew, I came to a conclusion that Jesus did two things extraordinarily well. One is, he found common ground with mankind. The God of the universe lowered himself and came and was put upon himself the robe of humanity and was birthed and born into this world because he wanted to connect with us, not where he was in the heavenlies. He wanted to connect with us where we lived on earth. So he became human, he became flesh. And I became very incredibly impressed with his willingness to do anything to cross over and connect with people that didn't have a relationship with him. The second thing that, as I got into the Gospels and read the book, is I became totally convinced that Jesus lived such an attractive life that people, they wanted to be around him, they wanted to listen to them. He walked a high road. In fact, the seed of high road leadership, whether secular or Jesus, the high road leader, it was birthed in the fact that as I got into the Gospels, I became convinced that Jesus sought to find us where we are. He came to us. He didn't ask us to come to him. And in coming to us, he just lived this incredible, beautiful life that was attractive. And out of that, I came to this conclusion. If I could live like Jesus, people would want to know him. They would just want to know him. That there would be something attractive about my life that would attract people to him. I also came to the conclusion that if I didn't live this Jesus high road leader life, if I was instead of a high road leader, high road person, I was a middle or low road person, then I would give people who didn't know God, who had never had a relationship with him, I would give them a wrong picture of who God was. That when they saw me, because I was a person of faith, they would see God, and if they saw me as middle road or low road, they would not want my God. It's almost like if people liked me, they might like my God, but if people disliked me, they would never even want to know my God. Now, over years, I have not only tried to live that life, but that life has begun to be a part of who I am until I'm at the place now where it's very simple. I want people who know me, but they don't know God. Get the picture. They know me, they don't know God. I want those people who know me, but they don't know God, want to know God because they know me. You're just writing down like crazy, I see. I'm going to repeat it. I want people who know me, but they don't know God, want to know God because they know me. And when we live this high road life, we become very attractive. We become very attractive because people see in us a life that is different, a life that is higher than most people's, and a life that is full of service and value, and it makes them hungry. We have to ask ourselves as Christ followers, and I'm teaching a lesson, and I'm talking to two different audiences. I'm talking to Christ followers, and I'm talking to people who have not yet developed a relationship with God. And I'm going back and forth, but I'm talking now for a moment to Christ followers. I'm just saying, you got to ask yourself the simple question: does my life make people hungry for God, or does it make them angry with God? That's the question. Now, in my book, High Road Leadership, I give the qualities of a high road leader. And they're very simple. And all of you basically have read the book, so I want to walk it through quickly, but I'm going to pull it out. High road leaders bring people together. They value all people. They acknowledge they're humanists. They do the right things for the right reasons. They give more than they take. They develop emotional capacity. They place people above their own agenda. They embrace authenticity. They take accountability for their actions. They live by the bigger picture. They don't keep score, and they desire the best for others. Out of these 12 qualities of a high road leader, 8 of them are in this book, Jesus, the high road leader. Now, he has all 12. But when I decided to write the book, I wanted to make it a shorter book, a book that people that don't know God would maybe be tempted to pick up. And so I picked out 8 qualities, and with my good friend Chris Hodges, who many of you know, we co-wrote the book together. But now, just let me take a moment. Let me just pull out those 8 qualities of Jesus. Jesus brought people together. Jesus valued all people. Jesus acknowledged his humanness. Jesus did the right things for the right reasons. Jesus placed people above his own agenda. Jesus embraced authenticity. Jesus didn't keep score, and Jesus desired the best for others. So now we go to the teachings of Jesus. Because in Matthew, he sat down and he basically said, let me tell you as Christ's followers how you are to live. It's on the screen. He said, let me tell you why you're here. So when people come to me and say, why am I here? Well, I mean, you really just, Jesus already tells us why we're here. You're here to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavors of this earth. And if you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You've lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage. Here's another way to put it. You're here to be light. And in this being this light, you bring out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on the hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. And now that I put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. And notice this next phrase. By opening up to others, in other words, by being salt and light, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. Jesus said it's very simple. You're to shake the salt and turn on the light. Salt makes things better. Light things makes things brighter. Several years ago, back in the 1990 time when I was talking about when I read Jesus, the Jesus I never knew, it became quite popular for people to have a wristband, and on the wristband were the words, what would Jesus do? And they would have that, and they would look at it. It was kind of like a decision-making wristband. It would be, what would Jesus do in this situation? And I want to be like Jesus, so I'll try to make a decision like Jesus. And it was a wonderful thing. I had one myself. But with Jesus, the high road leader, we've developed another type of a bracelet. Another one. In fact, I have one on my wrist right now. It's green. It's the very color of this book. But it doesn't ask the question, what would Jesus do? Because in high road leadership, we already know what he did. So we're not debating on what would Jesus do. And so on this bracelet, it asks the question, or doesn't ask the question at all. It says, do what Jesus did. Just do what Jesus did. In other words, we already know what he did. Hello, this is an IQ test. Now do what Jesus did. Now, I'm so excited about this little bracelet that our team, we made a decision. And we have one for every one of you tonight. Would you like to have one? And I don't know where they are, and dear God. I'm going to assume, okay, I see people moving down. I'm going to assume you're bringing bracelets to people. Okay, here's what they're doing. They're coming to your table, and they're bringing the bracelet to you. Okay? And when you get it, put it on your wrist, okay? And we'll have about, 3,000 people with bracelets, and they're coming to your table very, very quickly. Thank you. You're doing a great job getting them out. And pass them around. And this is just a kind of, just a small gift. It's not a big gift, but it's just kind of like gets us in the mood for the message. Are you with me? Do what Jesus did. In fact, when you get your bracelets, put them on as quickly as you can, okay? Because in a moment, I'm going to ask you to put your arm up so I can see these bracelets. And everybody won't have one. If we're missing some table, raise your hand very quickly. Raise your hand very quickly, okay? we didn't miss a table, we missed an entire region. A table would have been nice. We've got a continent over on the left side. Now it's okay, we've got about 8 or 10 tables, they're coming to you. All right? The only reason that they're slow is I would come to the conclusion they felt that you probably wouldn't maybe do what Jesus did. I have no idea what that is. But you should all have one. How are we doing? Are anybody else not getting? Everybody got your bracelet? Oh, this is good. Thank you, team. You've done a great. How about my? Are we over here? Good. Okay. Are we good now? All right. Put your hands up. Get your wrist up. Let me see it. Okay. Look. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so. Okay. And look at. Do what Jesus did. It's even got the DWJD. You know what I mean? You just go around and say, can't you just DWJD? Come on. And so look at your neighbor and show them right. Say, come on, do what Jesus did. That's what Jesus did. So, I can't take you through all 8, but let me just say this. I would encourage you, especially if you're a person of faith, not only get the book for yourself, we have it in packets of 5 or 10. You need to go start a small group on this book on Do What Jesus Did, Jesus the High Road Leader. So I would encourage you, if you don't have it, get it. For those that are in the Christian world, for those of you that are pastors, man, if I would be passing this book out, I would be teaching from this book because it just will help people to live the high road. Now, for time's sake tonight, I'm going to talk to you about maybe 2, if I can, for sure 1, and hopefully 2. By the way, this is the last session. I can do anything I want. So here we go. Number 1, and this one, of course, is I would have to share that it's not like one is more important than the other 7, but this is where it starts. If you can grasp this picture of Jesus, you're going to have the right picture of Jesus. Jesus valued all people. Yes. All people. Not some people, not most people. He valued all people. And on your screen is an incredible verse. This is how much God loved the world. He gave his son, his one and only son, and this is why, so that no one need to be destroyed. By believing in him, anyone can have a whole and lasting life. God didn't go to all the trouble of sending his son, Jesus, merely to point an accusing finger, telling the world how bad it was. He came to help, to put the world right again. We've got to quit cursing the darkness, and we need to start shining the light. Now, what I want you to know is that Jesus values you, and he values you incredibly. So you said, what, John, how does that happen? It happens because the Father God created you. Please understand. When he created you, he showed by the creation of you and by giving you giftedness and by having plans for your life that would help you to be very successful life. By creating you, he told you that he valued you. So look at the person sitting beside you at the table and just say, just say to them, Jesus values you. Go ahead and tell them. Jesus values you. That's Jesus values you. Hey, look at him and say to them, Jesus values me. Jesus values me. Now, wait a minute. When you said Jesus values me, you were much more passionate. It's kind of like, Jesus values you. Oh, hey, Jesus values me. Wow. Hey, look at your neighbor and say, Jesus values people I don't know. Jesus values people I don't know. One more time, look at somebody beside you and say, Jesus values people I don't like.
Jesus, how you see by those like.
That's the memory we got to get on.
We just touched on the problem, didn't we?
Yeah.
I was doing really good until I got to number 4. That Jesus values people I don't like. Now, let me talk to you as a father for a moment. Just for a moment. Talk to you as a father again tomorrow morning in another setting. As Christ followers, too many Christians have lost their way. And we're in trouble. I'm speaking to you just briefly. My name's John. I'm your friend. In politics, we've allowed our differences to become divisions with other people. Listen carefully. Differences are inevitable. We all have differences. We all disagree on certain things. If I sat down with you at your table, there are things you would agree with me. Differences are inevitable, as I've said many times. Margaret and I have been married for 55 years. We have differences. We don't agree on everything. In fact, if you don't believe in compromise, you won't be married long. But there are certain things we don't even talk about. Now, and it's not that she's right and I'm wrong. We just have, now listen, differences are inevitable, but division is a choice.
Yes.
When I divide myself from you in heavy disagreement, I have now decided, instead of giving you a bridge to God, I'm going to build a wall to keep you from Him. And during this election season, which we're now in, dear God, help us.
Amen.
We're in deep weeds. I'm not being